Hey guys!
Hello! Good night, good evening, good afternoon, and whatever you're watching this.
Welcome back to our secret laboratory.
Yes.
Where we are testing, we have 3 dozen fidget spinners to test tonight.
With this X-ray fluorescence spectrometer, it's a scientific instrument used for testing things for lead, mercury, cadmium, arsenic, gold, silver, whatever.
All types of metals.
And I just point and shoot, and it tells me what is in them. My name's Tamara Rubin. I'm trained and certified in using this instrument. We're in Portland, Oregon in our secret lab, and we're wearing lab coats so that we're official because people were afraid that we weren't official.
I know, we looked unofficial because they said we looked like moms. And we all know that once you have birthed a baby, you could no longer be a scientist.
So here we are, and we're going to be testing these. My website's tamararubin.com. We're going to post the results there as well. And
and my website, my name is Carissa Bonham, and my website is creativegreenliving.com. And there will be write-ups sometime this upcoming week after we've done all these testing events, and then both on Tamara's website and on my website, and then you can get more information there. And there's information there now about lead. If this is new to you and you are not aware of lead hazards in your home, check out those websites. We've got some great stuff. If you search for lead on my website or everything.
And where are all our Sunday night viewers? Come on, guys. I
Hey
know
guys,
you're there.
I know. That's okay. Theyll show up later.
You're like nursing your babies to sleep. I just know it. And you're going to be watching, but you have the volume off. So
True.
I've been there. All right, so we're going to start testing.
We're doing. Okay, so these are the fidget spinners we're doing for this round. We have 6. So these are 3D printed, is that right? Yeah.
Yep.
3D printed in the USA. So while Tamara is setting this up, I'm going to show you guys the package. This spinner that we're testing is from FidgetPros. It glows in the dark. It says it's 3D printed in the United States. Recommended for ages 6+. All right.
And one mama sent these to us directly. Her child has these. And there's 3 different colors and 2 different sizes. There's the Comet in purple or whatever, magenta, the Comet in pink, and then we have this Comet Junior in gray and blue that we're testing. And one of the things to note is that we can't really test, we're not using a swab test right now. The lead check swabs, the reactive agent testing, we're just doing the X-ray fluorescence spectrometer testing. And if you want to know more about X-ray fluorescence spectrometer testing, look up there's a blog post, Tamara, what do you use to test for lead, on my blog. And just look up XRF, Niton, and swab, and you'll find it there. But so the point is, they have inner workings, and we're not fully taking these apart in the interest of time. This is going to be our first round of screening as to whether or not they have lead. I think later we're going to be doing some swab testing, not tonight, but we can do some swab testing to see which of these also test positive with a lead check swab. So when we tell you that these are lead-free per the XRF, that doesn't mean they're 100% certain lead-free on the inside, but most likely lead-free on the inside because we're pointing it at these components which are fairly exposed. All right, so I just did 2 tests. I tested the center here, and I also tested around the bearing, which has a little plastic. And so the bearing side, it obviously tested positive for iron, 988,000, so that's 98.8% iron, which makes sense. So it's unlikely that there's lead in there, and it didn't detect lead, cadmium, mercury, or arsenic. So that's really great. It has a little platinum in there for fun. It's random what we see in these. And then this is the center of the plastic. Again, non-detect for lead, cadmium, mercury, non-detect for chromium. And so it seems like this...
Comet Junior.
Yeah, it's a good bet.
That's a good one.
And I expect these other ones to be pretty much the same. But because we had people send them in and they gave us a little donation towards our XRF rental. We rent the XRF for a day at a time, and the guy gives us a deal. He lets us keep it through the weekend if we rent it Friday. So that's why we are still testing, and it's about 500 a day or 1,500 to 1,800 a week, depending on what instrument you get. And so everybody chipped in to help with the rental and cover the costs, and all my speeding around town in Ubers to go to people's houses to test things as well. So that was the bearing reading, and I'll do the center reading.
Was that one non-detect on the bearing?
Yeah, it was the first one reading was non-detect, as anticipated. And I actually really like this. The thing about these two, and Carissa, maybe you can try and do this too, is you can't, like, these aren't popping out.
Oh,
However they get these in here, I said to my husband, maybe they can glue them in or something, because then on a lot of them, that kids play with them and they pop out, but,
And
maybe,
some people have choked on them, and
Yeah.
then there was another kid who popped it out, was wearing it around as a ring until his finger swelled up, and then they almost had to amputate his finger to get it off because they couldn't cut through whatever metal they had used. And so aside from the lead, some of these have other safety concerns. So that's great that those don't feel like they can pop out, because that really reduces
the risks.
the non-lead safety risk.
And so right now, I'm just going to do a third test. I think I could, just to make sure we got all the parts.
Okay.
Each of these tests is 30 seconds. I'm not going to go the full 30 seconds on this third one, but they're all non-detect, so this is
That's
non-detect.
great. Good job, FidgetPros.
Yeah, and then this third one from FidgetPros, and FidgetPros, they're not paying us to tell you this,
No,
but
they're
it
not.
says, not only is it not lead-free, but it's 3D printed in the USA, so made in the USA, but it does have the warnings, choking hazard, small parts, not for children under 3, recommended for ages 6+. Do not drop on hard surfaces as casing can get damaged. I guess then things would,
Maybe
Would-
detach. And
yeah, that's when
choking
things would
hazard.
pop out. So I think there's this, and there's another made in the USA company. And I generally don't, I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, it has to be made in the USA, because I have found toxic things made in the USA all the time. So that isn't a like definite thing that it's going to be safe, but at the same time, with these small cottage industries, it's actually, people that are making them, not big factories, and
Right.
they're actually paying attention. So in cases like this, I think that made in the USA is probably a good choice.
Because we've had several fidget manufacturers find out we're doing this and contact us too, and
Yeah.
ask us to check out their stuff, because they care, which makes us so happy, as opposed to people far away overseas, they do not care.
And if people want this guy's website, it's FidgetPros.com. And FidgetPros, if you see this and you like that, we got you on a video, please consider making a donation to the GoFundMe to help us keep doing this work.
Yes,
And the GoFundMe is gofundme.com/leadsafemama.
and there is a link in the description of this video.
And this one's also negative.
Awesome!
Yay.
Hey, 3 more. So this is our tally board. There were tallying leaded and unleaded.
We should add, you can add that
Yeah,
in a
I'll add
second.
the 3.
I'm going to start testing this one. You can add the 3 on there.
Perfect.
And,
Okay.
yep. This, and then you can show the box for this one. And it's going to start getting skewed into the unleaded side, because we tested a lot of the leaded ones first.
Yeah, the really exciting looking ones. Okay, so these were negative. Good job, FidgetPros. All right, and then this is the box of the one we're testing right now. Crystal sent this to us. Did she say where she sent? Nope, sorry, Crystal. This doesn't have a lot of information on it.
Yeah,
So-
let's see. It says choking hazard, distributed, manufactured in China, manufactured March 2017, age suitable 6+, not for children under 3. And this one actually has some
All right,
responsible
I know I
information.
didn't want to
Yeah.
show her address on the other. There we go.
But what's interesting about this is how it's got a different bearing. If you can, maybe, I'll test and you can do a close-up while I'm
Because
testing.
of the black metal.
The black metal, yeah, that's an interesting, we haven't tested that before. Have we tested that before?
I don't think we've seen one like this.
And so the bearings, my husband said, that they're all across the map in terms of quality, and, they're made for a lot of different applications, and that's, it's funny, because they're functionless. The bearings in the outside part are just a simple way to weigh things down. They
Well, you
don't-
can kind of flip them. See, look, here, if you hand it to me, I'll show you.
Oh, I see, yeah, I guess
We're going to teach Tamara how to use a fidget spinner.
I didn't realize that. Okay, learn new things every day. So I did 2 tests for this one, and lead, cadmium, mercury free, and it's got some titanium and iron, and the other test also iron and titanium. So this appears to be lead free without disassembling it as well. So
Awesome.
that is pretty great.
Cool.
Tie-dye fidget spinner. And then
These ones. Dun, da, da, da.
yeah, my guess was that these had lead, but we did test some with the similar rainbow finish, where the rainbow finish wasn't leaded. And I also wanted to just put another plug in terms of the GoFundMe. It's not just to cover the testing. I do a lot of testing, like we tested baby bottles and found lead, and we tested some cookware and found lead, and I test dishes for people, and a lot of times sometimes companies are really nice and really responsive and wonderful. And sometimes companies are mad and send us letters from lawyers.
And threaten to sue us.
Yes, threaten to sue both of us.
Both of us.
No.
No.
So for telling the truth and being independent watchdogs and parent advocates trying to protect kids. So that's one of the things we're trying to raise money for right now, is to cover a legal defense fund. We have a need to raise about $6,500 more right now. It's fairly urgent to cover a retainer for lawyers. Not fun.
And we're trying to raise that this week, and there's a link to the GoFundMe where you guys can contribute to that. Nobody is doing this work right now that we're doing, testing fidget spinners for lead, and we would really like to be able to keep doing this.
Yeah, and the fun thing is now we have a few reporters who said, listen, tell us the ones you tested that were high, and we want to do a report on it, and they're sending them out to labs, because we don't have the funds to also send things out to labs. It can cost a lot of money, like hundreds of dollars to test things in a lab. So we have at least 2 reporters who've told us that they're collecting fidget spinners and having them sent out to labs for testing as a result of this work we've done, which is really wonderful. Okay, so it has no lead. Amazing.
That's awesome.
Does this also, these things don't move on this one.
That one doesn't look like it does the cool.
See? So this one is copper. It's 60% copper, 22% zinc, 14% nickel, and chromium and titanium. And then the first reading was on the bearing area, and so that was similar readings. And no lead, no mercury, no cadmium, and no arsenic.
Awesome.
So
I'm
this
going to
one,
bet the next one has lead, though. Look at that press.
yeah, well, we know that one has lead. So this one was from Melanie, and I don't know where she purchased them, but we're going to put pictures, and we're going to talk to the people who sent these to us, and we're going to say, make sure we have the right link as to where they purchased them. So the problem is that a lot of these are going to look the same as other ones that also have lead. So it might look exactly the same as one that has lead, and you can't know as a consumer. So when we do post these, we want to make sure you have the links to buy the lead-free ones.
Yeah.
And please be patient with us. It's a lot of information to try and post.
So, just tonight we're testing 3 dozen fidget spinners, and we tested, I think, 25 or 29 the other night. So it's a lot of stuff to go through, and we really want to make sure that we're giving you accurate information, and we are erring on the side of accuracy rather than speed. Because we think that that's really important, especially if we're calling out companies for including unsafe materials in their items. We want to make sure that we have that right.
Yes, and a lot of the people who have sent these to me and said keep the leaded ones. I'm like, okay, yeah, what am I going to do with them?
Well, bring them with us on the Today Show.
Yes.
Hey, Today Show, are you watching? Because we would love to do this on the Today Show.
And so here we go. This one, the rainbow colored part is nickel and copper primarily, with a little iron and chromium and zinc and titanium, no lead. But the center, as anticipated, is this leaded brass center, which is similar to the centers that tested positive with a swab. And it was 32,900 parts per million lead in the center.
And tell them what the standard is for items intended
so
for children.
the standard is that an item intended for children should be under 90 parts per million, and this is 32,900 parts per million.
That's a lot more than 90.
Yeah.
So much more.
And it's that's specifically concerning accessible parts, and there's no question that this is accessible, and I'm going to have to wash my hands after this, but it's the one, you're touching it, right? That's the part you touch to make it spin, and that's a problem.
Yes.
So the great news is you could probably get the center component that's made of copper, because we've seen those.
Yeah.
And we've also seen them made of stainless steel. And we even saw, did we see a brass one that didn't have lead, or I'm not sure.
It was a brass look one, but it was made out of copper.
Copper, yeah. So they have these that they could replace that component and have it be lead-free.
And legal, right? Because that's
lead-free and
super
legal.
sketchy.
So you added those other 3.
I added the 3 from FidgetPros. We need to add the flip spinner to the unleaded,
and then
the rainbow one to unleaded, and then one more
to leaded.
to leaded. So that's the current tally, you guys.
And we're going to be back.
Yes, we're going to get set up to we're probably going to do at least 3 rounds of fidget spinner testing tonight. Yes. So stay tuned. Make sure you like the Misled America's Secret Epidemic page, as well as Creative Green Living, and then you'll get a notification when we're live. So just hang out on Facebook, and you'll get a notification when we're ready to go for round 2.
Yep, see you in a few minutes.
All right, thanks.
Bye.